Perspectives on vascular cognitive impairment, also called VCI for healthcare providers.
I want the medical community to hear the message that everything you do is actually attached to a real person. And every decision and every step you take impacts a real person.
Healthcare providers like you are with people at the most vulnerable times of their lives. Providing the best care possible means learning from those living with vascular cognitive impairment. So, we spoke to Canadians affected by the range of symptoms associated with vascular cognitive impairment. These range from mild symptoms to the most advanced stage, which is called vascular dementia. They shared their stories with us to help all healthcare providers build meaningful, empathetic relationships with those they are caring for. Paul was diagnosed with VCI after he had a stroke in 2010. But for years prior to the stroke, he was frustrated that doctors didn't take his early symptoms seriously.
Started in 2008. I had memory issues, confusion, losing things. My family doctor, who I'd known for 30 years, I told him I think I have dementia because da-da-da-da-da-da. And he says, you don't have dementia, you're a hypochondriac.
Then I had another doctor tell me that he didn't believe that people could have young onset dementia. That was also devastating. That was really the first time I felt really dehumanized, right? It was like he might as well have just sat there and called me a liar.
VCI affects up to 60% of people who have had a stroke, so it's important to screen for cognitive impairment. However, some people, like Paul, will experience early symptoms before a major vascular event, or they'll have no major vascular event at all. This is the case with small vessel disease, the most common cause of VCI. Being on the lookout for VCI symptoms and how they may present in different individuals can help with early detection. One of the most common things we heard is that after diagnosis, healthcare providers didn't provide a clear path forward.
So you get a diagnosis, a doctor sits across the desk from you and says, you have vascular dementia, and when we have people diagnosed, they usually have 3 to 8 years to live, so you should go home and get your affairs in order. And I'll see you in 6 months. When you walk out of an office after being told something like that, it feels like you were just dehumanized because nobody even cared enough to know if you're okay to walk out the door.
I said, so who else do I see now? And she said, nobody. You know, like, you've got your diagnosis. No one else. I was not referred to anybody to talk to me, tell me what I'm experiencing, is it normal? And life was hell for 6 years.
After diagnosis, a simple next step is to help guide those living with VCI through what they should discuss with their family or care partner going forward.
What do you want? Do you want to stay at home? And if you do want to stay at home, do you want extra care if it goes bad? Do you want extra care around the clock? How are we going to manage this financially? Where should I look? Advise me. If this goes on as we have seen with other people, and right now there's no cure for this, do you want to discuss end-of-life possibilities?
Those we spoke with also advocated for healthcare providers to focus more on practical information for daily living. This could be things like explaining expected physical changes and how to manage them. It could also include recommending occupational therapists or individual counseling.
It's so important that health professionals understand and are working at how do we improve the day-to-day. It was completely nothing we even anticipated, and it felt like no one prepped us for it.
We also heard about the importance of hope. Individuals found it valuable when healthcare providers provided steps and support for managing their symptoms and the progression of VCI. These could be interventions to help reduce vascular risk factors, like stopping smoking, increasing physical activity, or managing blood pressure. Or encouraging them to do activities that may increase their cognitive reserve, such as reading, crafting, traveling, or going to the theater.
Those sort of things give hope that you can live a normal life and you can still make a contribution to society.
People we spoke with also found community resources helpful and recommended healthcare providers should share resources for local and online support groups.
Online support groups are fabulous. You can meet people from all over the world. That saved my life, those online groups and organizations. And then that led me to finding local groups and organizations.
Many spoke highly of the Alzheimer's Society of Canada, Dementia Alliance International, the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Canada, and Forward with Dementia. Keep in mind, rural areas will likely have fewer resources available, so you may need to tailor your advice.
But it's really difficult. When you're in a rural community, you feel very not seen by the research reports or the recommendations on what to do.
In some rural areas, it can be difficult just to access primary care, and seeing a specialist requires significant travel.
Why don't we have longer blocks of time allowed for different types of appointments? A 15-minute appointment is not adequate for someone who has had to drive down the day before.
Care partners provide incredibly valuable support for those living with VCI, so supporting them is also important.
I was angry, I was frustrated, I was disillusioned, and I didn't know where this was going to go and how I was going to handle it. I'm just an ordinary human being. I don't know about these things. It was up to the doctor to advise me, to put me on the path of learning, and that never happened.
But even when care partners are present, we commonly heard about the importance of speaking directly to those you are treating, and to do this in a mindful way.
Don't look at the care partner and talk to the care partner as if the person living with isn't there, doesn't exist. I'm the one that lives with it. Talk to me. Help me understand.
I have a deep wish for medical professionals to slow down. I would invite you to be mindful of the speed at which you're moving with the person in front of you. Because if the energy of that office or that room is too fast and heightened, it reduces the ability for someone to really be connected and have the opportunity, like to have the meeting that they need in that moment.
Lastly, we heard it can be empowering for those living with VCI to participate in research studies.
If we don't do more research, we're never going to get the answers we need, right? And so often people think the research goes nowhere. But I look at research this way. For every research project that's failed, it means we're one step closer to finding the right thing.
Try to help those living with VCI connect with researchers or research organizations, like the engagement of people with lived experience of dementia. To summarize how healthcare providers can best provide care for those living with VCI, it was recommended to learn about early VCI symptoms, give those living with VCI treatment options and a clear care plan moving forwards, provide information and advice to help with day-to-day living, encourage those living with VCI and their care partners to discuss values and intentions together, share any available community resources, and provide accommodations for those living in rural settings if possible. Provide support for care partners. Speak directly to those living with VCI in a mindful manner, and help those living with VCI connect with researchers.
Don't let people walk out the door feeling hopeless. Everybody, every single person should walk out with their dignity in place and feeling like they have a little hope.
The first 3 videos in this series are intended for anyone who wants to learn more about vascular cognitive impairment and vascular dementia. Please feel free to share them as a resource for those recently diagnosed and their loved ones.